Hey guys, it's Snowbiter, and it's been a while since I've posted something other than Battlefield 3, or other than Battlefield 3 gameplay on my channel. And I really think the only other game that I posted any gameplay of was Modern Warfare 3, which I did only posted a couple of times. So I've been meaning to actually post this gameplay for a while. But this is some World of Tanks gameplay, and for those of you not familiar with this game, my guess is most of those of you that play consoles haven't heard of this game. But it's a free-to-play. Downloadable game for PC, and it's actually pretty good. I've been playing it for a couple months now, and this is actually an old gameplay. And honestly, there's nothing too special about this gameplay other than the fact that this was the first time I got Top Gun in this game, and I'll explain a little bit more about what that means later. But this is I think it's actually a pretty good game. A friend of mine recommended I try it out, and once you kind of get up through the first couple of tiers, it's definitely a lot of fun. So essentially, just to give you guys a quick idea of how this game works, is there are 4 different nations that you can choose tanks from: the Soviets, French, Americans, and Germans. And there are 5 different types of tanks that you can choose from those different nations. There's light tanks, which are essentially scouts. They're really fast with basically no armor. And then there are medium tanks, which are good in numbers. They're good for surrounding heavy tanks and circling them. Because generally speaking, heavy tanks are slower, and they have a slower turret rotation speed. And then there are heavy tanks, which are your brawlers. They're slow with a lot of armor, and they can do a lot of damage. And then you have your tank destroyers, or your TDs, which are they're fairly lightly armored for the most part, but they have good frontal armor, and they're usually best when they hang back a little more, and they can do a lot of damage to heavy tanks. They're a good counter to heavy tanks if they're used correctly. And then the final type of tank is self-propelled gun, or SPG, or artillery is really what they're called in the game. And those are, what they sound like. Essentially, they're just going to sit in your base, and they launch these mortar shells from distance on enemies, and they do, especially the higher tier SPGs, do a ton of damage. So then each tank has various different guns that you can upgrade it with, and you can upgrade its engine and its turret. So there are various upgrades that you can get over the course of time as you gain experience and credits. And so the way you get those unlocks is you have to research them with experience, and you gain experience every round, and it's dependent on mostly how much damage you do, but also if you scout enemies, or if you detect enemy tanks, or if you help capture or defend your base, which I can talk a little bit more about later. But you get points for that, and then depending on that, you get experience at the end of the round, and then you can use that to research some of those better guns, or the the upgraded engine, or even newer tanks in the same line. And I don't actually know if I mentioned this, but there are tanks from tier 1 to tier 10, and there's essentially lines just going down the tier, and obviously the tanks get better as you get to the higher tiers. And and the way matchmaking works is, I should probably talk a little bit about matchmaking before I continue, but essentially the way a round works in World of Tanks is you get matched up in a 15 versus 15 game, and your goal is either to kill or to destroy all 15 of the enemy tanks, or to capture their base. And each team, I don't know if you kind of noticed at the very beginning of this round, but you start off, there's like a home base that you spawn out in, and your goal is either to destroy all 15 of the other enemy tanks, or to capture the enemy's home base, and that's the way you win the game. And so that, depending on what you do to help your team out in that regard, you'll gain experience accordingly. And you also gain credits, which is the way you buy tanks, or the way you repair your tank if it gets damaged or destroyed over the course of a round. And it's also the way you resupply your gun, or the ammo for your gun. So in this round, I was using a tier 5 heavy tank in the Russian line called the KV, and I think the KV is probably widely considered one of, if not the best tank for its tier. Just because it's a heavy tank, so it has a lot of armor, and there's actually very little in its tier and below that can really do significant damage to it. And it also, at the same time, the KV has a gun, or it has actually a couple of different guns that, when equipped on the tank, can do a lot of damage, even to higher tiers, up to like tier 7 and tier 8s. It can do a significant amount of damage, and so it's probably widely considered the best tank for its tier. And it's also a really good tank for making money, because tier 5 is generally speaking the sweet spot where you can do enough damage to gain a good amount of credit and or a good amount of experience and a good amount of credit over the course of, or a good amount of credits over the course of a round. But at the same time, the tank is pretty inexpensive to repair if you do get damaged, and so it's ideal for making money if you're trying to buy one of the higher tier tanks, which generally speaking require quite a bit of experience to unlock, and then require a lot of credits to buy. So it's definitely a good tank, and as I said earlier, this is the first tank that I got Top Gun in, which essentially means that I got 6 kills out of the 15 possible over the course of a round. And I'm not great at this game. I'm okay, but I think I've been playing this game for maybe like 3 or 4 months now, and I've only gotten Top Gun, I want to say, maybe 10 or 15 times. And I've played a fair amount of this game, so it doesn't happen all that often. And I mean, the gameplay, it's not that impressive just because of the fact that the KV is so good, but I wanted to show you guys this gameplay just because it was the first time that I got Top Gun. So anyways, there's the end of the round. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick introduction to World of Tanks, and I definitely didn't get a chance to explain every or all aspects of the game. So if you guys are interested in this game, then I'll probably go into more depth in future videos, just to give you guys a better idea of how it works. And I do have a couple of other gameplays that I'm planning on posting, but do let me know if you guys want to see more of this game, because I can definitely make it a more regular, or I can give it a more regular appearance on my channel if you guys like to like this game. So anyways, thanks for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys later.